Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Long time no see. It has been about 2 weeks since I last filmed a video, which was my monthly uploads, my monthly check-in. I haven't done any pits and peaks, I haven't done any training diaries. I feel like a lot of my life at the moment is consumed by marathon training. When I'm not marathon training, I am very tired, I have very little energy to sort of film videos, or I'm commuting or working or whatever, and I just haven't really had the mental headspace to film. I do want to get sort of back into a consistent routine with it. I do want to make sure that I put some focus back into my YouTube channel because I feel like it's been slacking a bit. And I feel like a lot of my sort of posts that I do are on social media, and if you're not following me on social media you won't sort of get the updates. But I do want to try and make more of a conscious effort to grow my YouTube channel. With that in mind, I'm doing the video today, so I'm doing a pits and peaks, which is what I would usually do on a Sunday. I'm going to try and get a training diary up over the next couple of days. It obviously won't be tomorrow because that is Queen Elizabeth II's funeral, so I won't be doing any sort of videos on that day, but after that I'll sort of try and resume some sort of regular upload schedule for my YouTube channel. So I'm going to be talking about my pits and peaks. For those that are not familiar with the style of video on my channel, if you've not seen these sorts of videos that I do, I talk about things that didn't go so well for the week, being my pits for the week, and things that went better this week, being my peaks for the week. I'm going to talk about the pits first so I can end on a high with the peaks, so I guess we'll just get straight into the pits. This first pit is one that I've already spoken about. The first 3 pits are all sort of tied into the same thing. So I haven't been very consistent with my videos. I had planned on doing a pits and peaks every week, and I had said in pits and peaks in the past, when I've missed a few of them, that I did want to sort of do just a short video, even if I didn't have a lot to talk about, just to sort of keep the consistency there with the uploads. And the same with my training diary. I had really good plans for filming and documenting my London Marathon journey for my first marathon, and that just hasn't gone to plan at all either. I feel like the first couple of weeks was going really great. I was having consistent uploads, and then I just dropped the ball. I think that's just because I just became so busy, so consumed by training and working and commuting and whatever else, that I just haven't had the energy to film, so I haven't filmed those training diaries, which is a bit disappointing because I feel like I have to sort of cram weeks all together rather than them being separate. I guess I could do separate videos on each and then just upload in bulk with the weeks that I've missed, but it just, yeah, it just felt easier to sort of cram everything into one video and upload it. So any sort of races that I have in the future, I do want to make sure that I be consistent with that, and just in general be a bit more consistent with my uploads, make sure that I get the weekly uploads that I'm supposed to get out, and then any extra videos, and not just let YouTube fall by the wayside just because I've got other things going on. I feel like I am very I don't juggle things very well, so when I've got multiple things going on, if something takes sort of priority, I tend to focus on that. So yeah, I do want to make sure that I am being a bit more consistent with my uploads. The second thing that comes into sort of the consistency band is my training. I felt like my training was going really well right at the start. I was doing 4 runs a week, and as the mileage started to ramp up, I just really felt like it was taking a toll on my body, and I ended up dropping down to 3 times a week. I think there's some weeks in there where I only ran twice a week. So training has not gone to plan at all, with me working in the office a couple of times a week and doing the hybrid scheme, and my commuting to the office taking longer than usual. We have like 40-mile-an-hour speed limits for part of my journey, which adds on quite a bit of extra time. I just feel like everything is just consumed with training, getting my sort of longer runs in, and then I'm so exhausted and I'm just so over marathon training at this point. It seems like a good idea at the time, but sort of bearing in mind how much I work and how much commuting takes out of my time and things like that, and obviously with us getting into the autumn months and the winter months and whatever else, and losing daylight hours, everything has just become so much tougher towards the end of training. So yeah, it has been difficult. Training has not gone to plan whatsoever. I am disappointed with how training has gone, but there's not much I can do now. I have 2 weeks left to sort of, just try and keep things together until the marathon, and then once it's done, I do really feel like at this point in time, I never want to run a marathon again. I just feel like it's too much hard work, and it's been so taxing on my body and just my life in general. Like my whole life is just planned around marathon training. I haven't been able to do anything at the weekends. I haven't been able to do anything in the sort of lead up to the weekends, because I don't really want to go out anywhere or do anything or walk too much in the lead up to a long run, and then on long run day I don't want to move after I've done a long run, so like my whole weekend is wasted. I have not really had much of a social life or anything like that outside of training, so I'm very ready for it to be done now. So just 2 weeks left to go on that. The next thing that falls into the consistency bucket is the 75 challenge that I was doing. I feel like at the moment I'm going to take a pause on that just until after marathon training is done, just because I really can't focus on anything other than just getting my runs in and not letting anything else drain me too much. I have really been on it with my water and things like that as part of the daily challenge, but in terms of diet, I feel like I've been a bottomless pit, at least in the last sort of couple of weeks in the peak marathon phase. And even as I go into sort of taper phase, I do feel like I'm still a bottomless pit. Like I want to eat all the time. I am trying to have some resemblance of control during this point, just to make sure that I don't gain any weight in this last couple of weeks up until marathon point. But yeah, it is really sucky. Like I just feel hungry all the time, and when I'm not hungry, I'm tired. So yeah, it's all taking its toll. All good fun. The last pit for this week is that there was train strikes announced on Friday. Saw a rumour on the London Marathon training pages that I'm part of on Facebook, and then I'd seen it confirmed on Twitter. They haven't officially confirmed it until Tuesday after the Queen's funeral on Monday, but that is going to be announced on the Tuesday. It is really bad timing. I do support what they're doing in terms of the striking, but to do it on a day to do it the day before when everyone is travelling for the London Marathon, for an event that has so many people raising money for charity, it doesn't sit well with me at all, and they're going to anger a lot of people if they do go ahead with those strikes on that day. So that has made me really stressed this week, just because I was supposed to be travelling up for the marathon on the Saturday, and yeah, because the train strike is on the Saturday, we now can't travel on the Saturday, so I've had to do some amendment. I've had to spend a lot of money on getting a hotel for the Friday night. I've had to extend the sort of cat sitter that we were going to have in the house to look after the cats and things like that, so it's all just been a bit mad. I mean, yeah, I don't really know what else to say on that one. Maybe they will decide to reschedule the strikes, knowing full well that the London Marathon is in place, but I can't sort of take that risk and waiting to see whether they cancel it or not. I've just had to make contingency plans in the meantime, so that has been very stressful. And there's sort of no way that I am going to defer. I just want to get it out of the way. I don't want to have to defer and wait until April and do training all over again. I just want to get it done at this point. So that is that. I think that's it for pits. If there's anything else, it's probably going to be mentioned in my training diary that I do in the next couple of days. So I guess we'll move on to the peaks. I will briefly mention part of my training in my peaks, just because I am proud of what I've done. So I did 17 miles last weekend. That is the longest I have run in training. It's not what I hoped. As I mentioned, training just hasn't gone to plan for me. Training has been incredibly hard. I with the weight that I'm at the moment, training is it just doesn't bode well for me at all. I know that there's probably people out there that are a lot heavier than me, a lot bigger than me, and they are able to do marathons just fine, able to get the sort of peak mileage at 20 miles or whatever it is, but I just can't cope with running long distances in the body that I'm in at the moment, which is a bit disappointing. I'm not going to turn it into a pit, just because I want to focus on the fact that I have done my longest run ever outside of races. Like a couple of years ago when I was running half marathons, I would no way ever go out for a solo half marathon on my own. So the fact that I was able to do 17 miles solo to me is incredible. So I'm not going to put a downer on the fact that I didn't get 20. I'm just going to be proud of the fact that I got 17. I could have gone further for that long run, but my feet were in bits. Basically, I hadn't put the right precautions in place for my feet, so I got quite a few blisters. I have a nasty half a toenail that is bruised that has been causing some discomfort. So just a lot of things going on with that. So I do feel like I could have run further, maybe not 26 miles, but I'm hoping that on the day it will be fine. It's not about time, it's just about getting round and getting the medal. So yeah, I am very proud of doing 17 miles. The next peak for this week is that taper has begun. Hasn't gone as smoothly as I would have hoped, as most of my sort of final weeks of training have gone. It's not started as smoothly as I'd hoped, but taper does mean that we're almost there. We are 2 weeks to go. I've just to keep myself in one piece until the marathon and then just get it done, have my victory lap, and then just that's it. At this stage I'm not doing a marathon again. The final one, I guess these all sort of tie in with the marathon. If you've run a marathon before, you probably are in the same boat. If you haven't run a marathon before, I feel like your life revolves, like I've mentioned, your life revolves around marathon training. All you do is talk about marathon training. Like when I'm at work, what I talk about with colleagues is how my training has gone and things like that. So I feel like this is very much the same. I feel like a lot of my pits and peaks are revolving around marathon training. So my final peak for this week is that I am at about 75. I am at about 75% of my fundraising total for Crohn's and colitis. I hit £1,000 on the Just Giving page, which is about 39%. But I have been doing some fundraising and selling of things outside of the fundraising page, so I do have about £900 that I've raised outside of that I've got to put in the pot. So that has been going, well, it has been going slow and it has been tough going to raise that amount. Obviously because of the current climate that we're in and everyone tightening their purse strings, it has been very, very difficult to fundraise. And I don't think that I will ever raise money for charity that has a goal in mind after this. I just think it puts too much pressure on me. Obviously there is a pressure to begin with it being my first marathon, and then to add on top of that the fact that I've had to fundraise as well, and the added pressure of getting to that fundraising target has not been fun at all. If anyone wants to donate to the fundraising, I will leave a link down below and you can do so. I would be very grateful and the charity would be very grateful for that as well. But I do feel like I'm almost there with that, so I do think that I'll get the last sort of 500, 600 that I need, and I have about 6 weeks after the race as well to sort of get the rest of that. So I'm taking that as a positive. I don't think I have anything else to sort of catch up on, I guess. So I'm going to end the video here before it gets too long. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. You can always click the notification bell down below and be notified of when my videos go live. Other than that, hope you're all staying safe and well. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekend, whenever it is that you're watching this, and I will see you again in my next video. Bye.